Welcome to Creatively Using the Creative Suite. Here's your host, Erik Bernskiold. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Creatively Using the Creative Suite podcast. My name is Erik Bernskiold and I'm inside of Adobe Dreamweaver CS5 and I'm here to show you the HTML5 features that got added when the HTML5 pack was released a while ago. So if you haven't used Dreamweaver since, this is going to be a good video to just speed you up on what's happened. And if you're a Dreamweaver user, you might have installed this update, HTML5 and CSS3 pack, but haven't gotten around to using it as much. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Inside of Dreamweaver, you can now use all HTML5 and CSS3 tags that is supported by the latest specification or suggestion specification. And when you notice that when you go to create new, and I'm going to go to more, and right at the bottom of the layout, you're going to find HTML5, 2 columns fixed right sidebar, header and footer, or 3 column fixed header and footer. What you can do is you can look at the other that are here, left sidebar, header and footer, and you can also create that in HTML5 as the doc type, right? So let's do that. And let's also create a new one, but using the HTML5 preset. Because if you're in CS5, just changing the doc type here, and you'll see that in a moment, won't automatically make this an HTML5 markup document. But the doc type is much simpler in HTML5, so this is how it looks. And if you look in the first document, that's the exact same thing. But if we scroll down to the actual markup of the one we said the doc type is going to be HTML5, you're going to see it looks just like usual. Div class container, div class sidebar, UL class nav, div class con. It looks just like it used to look. However, if we go back, and if I even close this down so there's no confusion, if I go back and scroll down, you're going to notice that this markup is pretty different, right? So this markup has a container class, but then something else happens, right? You have a header, closes header, div class sidebar 1, nav, ul, lie. That's all usual, but the nav element here. And then comes an aside. What's aside? Here's article class content, instruction, section. This has all got to do with the new HTML5 markup that's now available inside of Dreamweaver. And it's easy to use, it's already there, and as long as you know how to use it, Dreamweaver supports it. Now, there's one thing that you might think now, what about browser support? Now, HTML5 is here, it's here now, can I start using it? And the answer is yes, you can. However, not all browsers support HTML5 yet. The latest versions of all IE, Internet Explorer, supports it, the latest version being IE 9 and up. Firefox, Chrome, Safari all supports HTML5 in the latest versions of their browsers. However, older versions, and even IE 8, which is the version of IE ago, does not support the HTML5 markup with section, header, footer, and everything like that. So what you need to do, and this is really simple, there is a little there's a repository of code to help get older browsers, especially IE9 here, to understand this. Because IE9 won't print anything here unless it really finds it, right? So here we have a little conditional tag, and it says if less than IE9, it's going to call in the script, and it's on Google servers, googlecode.com, so it's going to load quickly because it's on Google servers, but it's a little JavaScript that basically tells all browsers under IE9 how to use and how to interpret this document in order to serve it up and have it look just like if there had been div class header instead of header as a tag. So that is really good. It's good practice, works really well, and you can start using the HTML5 tags right now without skipping down the browser compatibility for older browsers. So just keep this in mind, start exploring HTML5, and of course it's all there when you go to autocomplete. If I just start typing here, footer, it's gonna work, no problem, no issue. HTML5 support inside of Dreamweaver CS5. Just get using it right away. That's it for this week's episode of the Creatively Using the Creative Suite podcast. My name is Erik Bernskiold, and I'll see you back next week in another Suite application, show you something different. Until then, bye-bye.